Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to yet another episode of Star Trek Reliant. For those new here, this is not a normal meat hall stream. This is where I basically hand everything over to who we collectively call the Starbase UGC crowd, and we get together every other week, and we play a Star Trek Adventures game set in Star Trek Online's timeline, universe, whatever, story. And without further ado, let's give it to Hippie.
So last week, or 2 weeks ago, on Star Trek Reliant, the Reliant en route back to its normally scheduled patrol area detected a distress signal coming from within a very cold nebula. I say cold nebula because they detected that the temperature inside of the nebula was just beyond rating of cold. They knew that they could take a shuttle in there, but that, you know, it was not a place that space wanted to be explored. It's one of those. This is a dangerous area of space. And when they arrived following the distress call, they found a very old style ship, an Archer class, that once upon a time would have had 12 or so scientists and explorers on board. And rather than risk the entire Reliant, they sent a shuttle in, piloted by their android crew member, Bryce, and dragged the what was the name of the ship? Do we remember? Was it the Archer? No. It's been 2 weeks. I don't have that good of a memory.
Oh, God, I can't remember now either.
We did something clever.
It was something clever. Oh, well. Go listen to last week's episode.
Wait, does no one... Yeah, what is that? It was an Archer class. What did we name that thing?
But regardless...
I don't remember either.
Regardless, one of the Reliant shuttles pulled this ship out of the nebula, and they were able to download computer logs and that sort of thing. And once that ship was brought on board into the shuttle bay, there was a strange camera focus on the hand of a junior engineering officer touching the front of the shuttle with pride, being like, I knew you could do it. And then it just kind of became an episode about living on the ship. People, we started the episode in the mess hall with some of the senior officers starting to have their meals with the other members of the crew. We saw that ensign who had slapped the front of the shuttle ended up shaking hands and hugging other people at dinner, and Dr. O'Connor, who is the ship's chief medical officer, he listened to the logs that came off of the ship, and he realized that it seemed as if the crew lost their minds. It seemed like they just lost all of their inhibitions and then lost their minds, and that was that. And the ship drifted into this nebula, and they all died. And he, upon looking a little more closely, realized this is polywater infection. And he reported it to everyone, and people were like, whew, we better we better get those engineers that help bring the shuttle on board and take them off of any big projects, and we better keep a handle on this just in case it gets out of hand. And the episode ended with dinner. It ended with the senior staff having their evening meal, some of them once again with the junior staff. The engineering crew, they just love Rick Tier. And it almost, at dinner, it was you're a really good boss kind of dinner. And he smiled a lot. He got a lot of handshakes, and Rick, you just know that your engineering team loves you, man. They love you. The first officer and her husband, that would be Kendra and Quentin, they had made their way back to their quarters, and therefore did not, we're not in any kind of range of being infected. However, when one of the engineers was leaving the dining hall, they saw Kara's, being the ship's pilot, Kara saw her sweet little doggy that had come to dinner and bent down and pet him. And then later on, we saw that Kara pet the dog, and now we just had it to be continued. The ship is obviously, we as the audience know, infected with the polywater virus. There's no doubt that it is passing from person to person at this point.
And I just look back, and it is the USS Rylander. I just had
Rylander. Nice. Thank you for remembering that for me. And so we begin this episode before, you know how every good, not every good, but Star Trek episodes have a before credits scene.
Before we do that,
sure,
we want to do our usual intro, or did we want to do the opening scene and then do the intro?
I would think do the opening scene and then run the credits. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and we will introduce each of you who are playing the characters as you arrive on scene. And we start with the ship. We begin our episode this week with water. Water falling into a sink. The officer corps of Starfleet often have bathrooms that have both sonic showers, and they have water to be used as well, and all of that. And in this case, what we have is, it must be morning because he looks like he just woke up. He sleeps in, guessing black sweatpant type of things, and no shirt. The image I have in my mind is what he looked like on Risa, but his beard is back. And we are seeing Victor Waitley standing at his bathroom mirror, running his hands under the water and splashing himself in the face as he has awakened for the morning. And, Mr. Nord, I need you to roll 2d20 for me. Your target number, since I, of course, have that wonderful thing we call the drive open so that I can see your character sheets. Your target number for me is going to be 11 and 4 is 15 is your target number. And I'm going to let psychology apply, meaning 15 is your target number, and you crit on 4 and below. Go ahead and roll 2d20 on our amazing game chat. 1 success and 1 complication.
Woo!
That's awesome. Now, I can't remember. I know that we had we said that we were going to let your momentum carry over.
Oh, that's right.
My notes here show that you had 3, unless you guys remember something more than that.
3 sounds right.
Okay, so you guys begin with 3 momentum, and I, as a point of fact, did not use any of my threat last time, meaning that I begin this game with 14 points of threat. So, I don't know if you want to use any of your momentum there, Nord. I wouldn't on the first roll of the game.
No.
Personally. I that's just my thought. My thought is I would not necessarily use the momentum on the first roll of the game. But you might want to.
So, point of order question.
Yes.
Are we going to have any penalties on our roll due to infections?
Depends. Depends on if you're infected and what you're trying to do. So what do you want to do, Nord? Stick with the one success and one complication?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so after Victor splashes his face and does, the normal, like, okay, I'm awake, I should hop into the sonic shower, man, something feels off in your mind. You're not 100% sure what right off the bat until you step into the shower, and we see. I promised a member of our gaming crew here that there would be nudity before the credits rolled, and what we see is the steamy shower of Victor Waitley with Victor stepping inside, and obviously you don't take a shower in your clothes. So there you go. There's your nudity before the credits even roll. And Victor, what you realize as you get into the shower is that you feel drunk. It's been a while. It's been since Ryza, really.
I was about to say, like, is it Ryza drunk or?
But you feel.
Or is it the time he got drunk before that? Duncan, what's the NPC's name? Remember one of the early episodes where Waitley decided to man up and do the drink from Hasra?
Oh, Hasra.
Yeah.
Hasra.
Which drunk are we talking? Are we talking Hasra drunk or
It's more like a Ryza drunk. But once you focus on it, realize that you're not drunk. A whole lot of the crew is, though.
Oh.
And you, as you're like stepping out and like zipping up your uniform, you're like, I think I can keep myself under control, but I feel really drunk. And that's the complication, is that you feel drunk. Even though you're not infected.
I have been psychically infected.
But you are detecting the infection among other people on board the ship because they feel drunk. So everyone, that is Victor Waitley. Victor Waitley is played by the grumpy old Nord, our channel host for the night. And as Victor steps into a brave new day, the credits roll, and there you go.
And now it's time for the coolest part of this whole thing, in my opinion.
Shh, we gotta be quiet.
I do wonder if we could get this recut to be more like the lower decks one for this one, where the ship's running into stuff.
I do. I like our intro a lot. It's perfect.
Totally need to get an MST3K style silhouette at the bottom.
I already threw out my thing. We should just be plowing into that space station.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Wild stroke, everybody! It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, we're gonna be professional strokers and not do anything too crazy.
Oh, what did I do?
Okay, Q gave us carte blanche practically. This episode's gonna get stupid. And I say that in only the kindest way possible.
Be very quiet, talk through the entire intro. You gotta let us know when we can, like, talk again.
Okay, it's good. It's good.
Okay, now that
they
you've
came
seen
here for
all...
this, you know it.
I know it, right? Now that you've seen all of the character names, here then are the cast that you have been hearing be completely unable to keep our mouths shut. My name is John. I've had the nickname online of Hippie John for like the last 20 or 25 years. I tell stories and used to tell stories with the Star Trek Online Foundry. We don't have that foundry anymore, so now I tell stories here. Our ship's captain is played by Duncan Idaho, another storyteller from the Foundry who still likes telling stories. It's amazing how storytellers just can't stop telling stories. The ship's captain is Lieutenant Marcus Graves.
I am a very good storyteller, and I am very good at doing these also other voices.
Because I also have some software to change things up, and hopefully I'll be using that tonight.
Quite possibly. Our ship's executive officer is played by another longtime Foundry author named Kendra Lennis, who is playing one of her Foundry characters, Kendra Lennis, and told some really fun, different kinds of stories in the Foundry than a lot of people were telling at the time, and I'm super happy that she decided to join us at the last minute, despite the fact that we're a bunch of idiot boys.
Thanks. Female here.
We have we have our ship's chief science officer, who is both in real life and in the game, Kendra's husband, Cass Modian, who for a long time did a really wonderful show with the Foundry that used Foundry assets to do interviews with devs and other creators, and it was really one of the things that got me into the idea of storytelling. The character of Quentin Reynolds is played by Cass Modian.
And we never did enough science on that. That's my one regret.
Not enough science. I would introduce him, but our chief engineer seems to have dropped out for a moment. So instead, I will shift us up to the bridge, where the character of Kara June Rani is one of the Ibi race created by Duncan Idaho for his, I think, both his player characters in the game and also for Foundry series that he wrote when the Foundry was still active. Our friend Jarlin saw the game was going to be beginning on Twitter, reached out to us, and now we have a really absolutely hilarious and wonderful character in Kara Junrani, played by Jarlin.
Hello. Just a reminder, tonight's episode will be rated T for teen, due to drunkenness, comic mischief, and the mental image of Victor Waitley's flat ass.
Why do you gotta describe it as flat? I've just gotten word.
I just gave the best last ever, and I had my mic muted.
I just gotten word that our chief engineer has lost internet, which makes me very sad. But that's okay. He had shared enough with me beforehand that I can at least let people know some of what he is doing as the episode goes on. And last, but certainly not least, especially when the episode deals with a polywater infection, the ship's chief medical officer is our friend Nick, who, like Jarlin, saw the game was beginning on Twitter and said, "Hey, do you guys have room for me too?" And we were like, "Yeah, we got room." And suddenly we had a chief medical officer who... Man, Nick has come up with a character that I certainly appreciate having on the Reliant. It makes me... Dr. Eli O'Connor makes me smile more than... he makes me smile more than Gates McFadden, and I loved Dr. Crusher. That's all there is to it. She was Dr. Crusher. So anyway, I like Dr. Eli O'Connor as much as I like Dr. Crusher. That's a pretty big compliment, played by our friend Nick.
I am Dr. Eli O'Connor. I'm suave and trying not to sound like Stallone after my mouth injury.
So anyway, I don't know that Rick can actually vocally join us. Can you there?
Yes, I'm back. Thank you.
Oh, our ship's chief engineer, Rick Tier, the first ever of his kind. He is a soar, is what they're called, which is physically somewhere between a Gorn and a Saurian. He is a lizard race created by Baz. Baz, also long-time Foundry author. Baz was a long-time Foundry author. One of the people that helped me learn about how to actually use the tool when I first started trying to learn how to use it. So that's Baz playing our chief engineer, Rick Tier.
Greetings all. I'm drunk. Yay!
Yeah. So yeah, that is. I like that. He already knows that he is drunken. So we come back from commercial or credits, and we are.
Can I?
We have seen that Victor realized something was off. Like, we probably saw it on his facial reaction because what we see as an audience is what his mind experiences, which is like faces all over the ship of people who are infected with the polywater infection right now. He realizes that probably more than half of the ship is already infected, and we probably see that facial reaction. And then when we come back from credits, I'd like to start with our ship's pilot wandering toward the bridge. It's a little late in the morning to be wandering toward the bridge, but she's doing it.
Cue slight flashback to Kara waking up in a panic as she slept through her alarm. She wrestles her way out from underneath a very tired doggo, dumps some food in the bowl, and dashes out the door and through the hallway to get to the turbo lift. Then we zoom in, or rather we zoom out as she exits the turbo lift onto the bridge, yawning, still in her sleep shirt and underwear.
So Kendra and Quentin and Klingon at Ops are all at their stations when Kara comes onto the bridge looking like that. The Chief, that's his name, the Chief, until we get another name for him. So how do you react to this, Kendra, Quentin, and the Klingon looks up, looks back at his console, and doesn't say a word.
Officer Junrani?
Yes, ma'am?
I think you forgot something.
Like what?
Your uniform.
Kara blinks very slowly and sort of glassy-eyed looks down. Damn it.
Damn it. And completely out of character for him. And he's kind of got a I don't really care look on his face when he says it. He spins around because, he's the guy who handles the piloting of the ship when before Kara has taken up her spot in the morning. Ensign Moon turns around and just goes, I don't know, Commander. I can deal with this new uniform code.
Kara does a little smile and a little pose, blowing him a kiss. Then she's giggling to herself afterwards.
Oh God, Moon's got it.
So, this, I should probably go to Med Bay.
Yes.
Kara salutes, turns around, goes back into the turbo lift.
It's so brilliant. I'm laughing my fool hippie butt off over here. Following that, she, as Kara said, Kara just said, I should probably go to med bay. So it's morning. Doc O'Connor, you went back to your quarters before you passed out, but in the morning you have to take one of those like magic hypo spray. You pick up your magic I'm not gonna have a hangover today hypo spray and like give yourself a shot in the morning. You're like, wow, I drank a lot of whiskey last night. However, the captain once again passed out in medbay. And you are being awakened, Captain, by Ged, who's like jostling your shoulder a little bit, and he's like, how's your head feel?
I wanted to wake up in my office.
Okay, you could totally wake up in your office. I was just giving you the option to have a little more, dignity.
With this episode, dignity?
Out the window.
Yeah, I just want to go ahead and say, Kara hasn't actually made it to the med bay. She just fell asleep on the turbo lift, which everyone's going to notice the next time it opens.
That's awesome.
So, yes, as soon as I wake up, I take the magic anti-intoxicant hypo, and I make myself a Bloody Mary.
You see Ged, waking up the captain, because it is morning, after all. And Ged is literally, like, just tapping your shoulder, Marcus, and being like, hey, how's your head feel?
Ask me in a minute.
Ask you in a minute.
You want a Bloody Mary, Captain?
O'Connor, toss me that hypo spray!
Fine, but does anybody want Bloody Marys?
Toss me that
hypo No Bloody Marys!
Well, I'm having one. I toss over the hypo spray.
So, yes, as you wake up, Marcus, you do realize that your medical team is... They have real alcohol on your ship. Like, serious, real alcohol, because you wake up with a bit of a hangover.
I think Marcus would have realized this the first time he passed out.
Probably.
I think this is time 3, but at least this is time 3 right now.
Yes, but Ged does have a hangover remedy ready to go, and he offers it to you if you want it. He's like, you probably got, 20 minutes before you have to be at the bridge or whatever.
Kendra taps her comm badge.
Good.
Okay.
Kendra taps her comm badge and comes across rather shrilly. Captain, I think we have a problem.
Captain,
what do we got?
I think we have a problem. What do we got? And just real quickly, the scene shifts to engineering. Rick Tier, you feel a little uninhibited today, like you could solve any problem. And you walk into engineering thinking, we are going to keep this ship running, ship shape, everything is going to be great. And your engineering team has a surprise party for you.
Oh.
You walk in and they have a surprise we love our boss party. It's right as soon as you walk in, they're like, surprise! And I think we have a problem. And then we sit down in engineering and hear the conversation between the captain and first officer.
All right. So Marcus says, what is it? As he's getting injected with a hypo spray.
About?
Say again, Kendra.
You know that polywater problem we were talking about?
Yeah. Is it loose?
Well, either Kara has been drinking when she's supposed to be on duty, or she's got it. And I'm thinking that a couple of the other bridge officers might have it too.
All right. Let's not blow up the ship or start any diplomatic incidents. I want us to go into containment protocols immediately, put the ship into lockdown, and let's also review the database for any species that may not be affected by this polywater, and basically hand the ship over to them. I'll consult with sickbay about quarantine procedures in the meantime. If you have access to a hazmat suit, I'd recommend putting it on. just maximum
We
precautions.
have-
I'll be.
Any information as to how this spreads? Is it through vapor or contact?
I just presume-
Eli, I was going to say, Eli, you hear the question, and Eli, you know the answer is contact.
Contact, I say as I sip my Bloody Mary.
Yeah, in that case, I'd go for a full hazmat suit because even if you're, say, wearing gloves, you don't want anyone touching. But yeah,
Kendra interrupts the captain and goes, "Nobody touch me!"
Nobody touch me!
and then Graves is just like, yeah, I thought something like this might eventually happen, so I'll be right back. And then he taps his comm badge and just says, Containment Protocol Alpha, and waits for the transporter beam.
Where does it take him?
To an undisclosed location somewhere on the ship.
Containment Protocol Alpha! Nobody touch me!
Real quick.
Did the captain just run away during an emergency?
Real quick. Did
Wait,
that,
no,
put
you
us
didn't finish yet.
did that put us at yellow or red alert?
Probably yellow alert. And then a minute later, another transporter beam comes back where Marcus was, and it's a mobile emitter if we've got one. Do I have Q's permission to use a mobile emitter?
No, because you don't have any holographic crew members.
Okay. Where do we have holographic projections on the ship? Just sickbay?
Sick bay for, but they're not AI holograph. The only
where do we have the emitters?
sick bay, holodeck, and shuttle bay.
Any on the bridge? Dang it. Okay.
Yeah, none on the bridge.
Okay, so Graves. So Graves' protocol has changed somewhat. So what appears next is a hologram of Graves in sickbay.
Nice. I like it.
So Graves says, "Okay, I'm in an undisclosed location right now. No one except Lieutenant Tardigrade knows where I am right now, and unless our environmental systems are affected, I'm probably going to be okay. So I'll retain command protocols just in case, and then if we need to do any direct interface, I can hop down to the shuttle bay, I can stay here in sick bay, help out, and take any command protocol decisions that need to go, and just route that through the bridge. So I'm safe."
Question, Captain.
Yep.
Can I wear one of those EVs, the armored EV suits? Because, come on, this is the only chance I'm ever going to use those.
Go for it. That was my plan B.
Woo!
Actually, I still might procure one of those depending on how the situation goes. But for now, I want to try this out.
Ed says, "I have an idea." Shockingly, Doctor, let's talk once we're suited up.
Alrighty, let's just beam the suits to us. I'm not going through that hallway. It's full of the infected.
It's full of the infected. Like, you guys, actually, you start to step out into the hallway, and Ged goes, and you see a lot of people in the hallway who are uninhibited from their like most times you see people in the hallways of the if you see someone in the hallways of the ship, you see them in their professional demeanor, right? You know, they're an officer on board a pseudo military starship. They have a somewhat professional. None the people out there don't have a professional demeanor right now. In fact, if you look, down the right direction, you'll see like two couples making out in the hallway. And as the doorway opens, Sked looks at you and goes, "How about we?" And Doctor, you say, "Transport the suits right here to us." Yeah, and the sickbay doors close, and we pick up with. Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, wouldn't I have felt it? I am an empath.
Oh yeah, like once the doors open up, you're like, and even before, you're like, "Oh man, the ship is way infected." You can totally tell the ship is very infected this morning. It had a whole night to propagate around the ship, and it did. So right now, the three of you in sickbay were safe because it never came into sickbay. Kendra and Quentin essentially safe because it never went to their quarters. Everyone else,
I have a question.
Essentially safe. Yes, what's your question?
So we're on the bridge, and there's Moon, who is infected, that's on the bridge that I didn't know was infected, and we may have
You
touched
didn't
some of the
know.
same consoles. So do I have to roll to find out if I'm infected?
Nope. Moon only ever touches 2 consoles on the bridge. He touches the main. He touches the main flight control console that Kara sits at a lot of the time, and he touches the backup flight control console, which is 5 feet off to her right.
What about the turbo lift controls?
Oh, that's a good point. Nope, you don't need to make a roll. And that's because I'll let people know, as a storyteller, it takes direct contact in this case. You must touch an infected individual, or in the case of what started it, the polywater that was on the outside of the shuttle. It can't be like, it can't now pass like from a person onto their console and pass to someone else. It's direct contact at this point, making it different than the other known polywater infections, which means that like Dr. Crusher or Dr. McCoy's solution to the problem won't work.
Okay, so where were we at?
We are, I like that question. Moon touched things. Oh no. We are back at the turbo lift as it really is like morning. People are just now going to their stations on board. Victor, you approach the turbo lift, and Larissa is standing there. She's got her very typical at attention pose. Her hands are crossed behind her back, waiting for the turbo lift. As you walk up, and she goes, "Chaplain." Arm grown mostly back. Fingers are still fucked up though. Or you're on mute.
Sorry, yeah, I was busy setting everything up, and I forgot I had my mic muted. So Whately is obviously he's reading all the thoughts of everything, and everybody's been busy talking. I wanted to do a thing, but everybody was talking. I didn't want to interrupt. Before we get there, before Whately leaves his quarters, he's going to telepathically reach out to Dr. O'Connor and ask,
okay,
are you getting what I am getting?
Yep. Yes, I am.
Whately has a little hiccup in his thoughts, and he says, are you infected?
No, I'm wearing an EV suit now. I'm kind of upset I couldn't finish my Bloody Mary, though.
Eli can literally feel Whately raising his eyebrow, like, what?
What?
All right. Whately then projects, what is the contingency plan for this situation?
Captain's hiding in somewhere. I don't know. Me and Get are wearing EV suits. We're going to try to fix things.
I am going to report to the bridge.
You might want to wear an EV suit. I don't know. Maybe.
Question. We for Q, we have personal shield generators, right? Since this is set in
you
STO.
do, because this is set in the STO universe. You have small personal shield generators.
Do I have any theory as to whether that would be effective?
Victor Whately happens to be a medical officer, which is a kind of a science officer. And so Victor Whately may roll reason, science, which you have a 15 in. None of your focuses apply. You may roll 2 dice. 15 is your target number.
2 successes.
You think that if someone is already infected, the shield isn't going to do jack. the shield is just not going to help at all. But if it mutates and becomes airborne, the odds are that the shield would be of great assistance. As it is from what you can tell from the medical reports, it is passed through contact, like skin to skin. You got to shake hands, hug somebody, whatever. Your shield isn't going to help. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But if it went to airborne, I believe that the shield would help.
I also have a quick question, which is probably about to be answered. Which turbo lift are they standing in front of?
Oh, the door to the turbo lift opens up after that scene of Larissa realizing that she kind of half drunkenly kissed the chaplain before she went off to war, right? And is like, chaplain? Oh, man.
So
I don't even have an arm, right? And the turbo lift door opens, Waitley, and Kara is asleep on the floor of the turbo lift in her nightshirt and underwear.
She's actually passed out standing up against the back of the turbo lift, forehead pressed against it, somehow asleep standing up. So the audience gets a lovely shot of her butt.
There you go. Marissa looks at you.
So Waitley was rushing to the turbo lift, and he had tapped his comm badge after activating his personal shield generator, and was trying to get a hold of Rick Tier when all this happened. So he's literally just said, Waitley to Rick Tier, I shakes his head. I need a medical lockdown on turbo lift 47 immediately.
I need a medical lockdown on Turbo Lift 47 immediately. And you hear, just as you reach and Larissa looks at you like Kara's, asleep in the turbo lift in her night clothes. What you get back instead of Rick Tier is some voice that is not Rick Tier's that says, "We're having a party down here. There's cake." And Rick, you are in engineering. Everything is running perfectly. Your crew loves you so much, bro. They even told you to take your comm badge off and just relax while they pamper you for the morning. They have morning cake, and they have the kind of they've looked up what kind of food that you liked the best at the academy, and man, they love you, Rick. What are you doing?
Rick is just enjoying himself right now. He usually he's got his professional demeanor, but he's sort of that's gone, and he's just like talking with people, sharing stories. Both of his family and of his family, of his culture, and just sort of like weird like funny things that happen during the academy. He's very much like embracing the community aspect of what's going on right now.
Okay, I am going to let this, by the way, give the Reliant an ongoing, even after this episode, bonus of your engineering team freaking loves each other. And so anytime you have to make some kind of ship-based engineering check, it automatically, the ship can already help you, but because of the camaraderie that has been built within your engineering department, you have an automatic success whenever you have to roll ship-based engineering. Somebody write that down, because I just made it up. It's like I would call that like John's bullshit rules.
But community and like thinking about more about the other people, and so it was something that's very much a part of what he would consider his duty. So even in his drunk state, that's just sort of ensuring that And he's thinking about them in terms of keeping them together as encouraging like the communal aspect of engineering.
Right on. Yeah, so really what happens, the reason, see, every time that you were telling me about like, oh, what if Rick Tier wouldn't be affected in the same way? I was like, no, what I'm planning, I think, is going to affect Rick Tier exactly the way that it should. Basically because the way you described it last week was Rick really making the outreach to the engineering team and like being like, yeah, I probably have breakfast with them a lot of days, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, this is just so perfect. Like the engineering team is probably down there still doing a good job. They're just having a party rather than being professional about it. So that's where we are. Rick, you're in the middle of telling stories. You don't even you feel like your team really meant it when they were like, you can just relax this morning, Rick. And so then we cut back to Waitley. That was the response you got when you called for Rick Tier. You were like, Rick, we need something, and you got a voice back that was like, we're having a party! There's cake! What do you do?
Waitley to Graves.
Graves here.
We have an issue in engineering.
How many of them are infected?
I believe all of them.
All right, lock down engineering systems just in case they try to blow up the ship for some. You know what? We should just have. All right, I'll get in contact with Bryce. Have a security team equipped with hazmat suits. Get down there, keep them out of there because they might just start taking things apart for the hell of it. So thanks for letting me know. We'll get right on it. If anything else comes up, let me know. I'll be safe for the time being. So. I should be fine, but if you notice anything from me, definitely feel free to relieve me of duty.
Waitley's eyes widen because he technically can. he looks at Larissa and then looks back down at Kara and says, "Oh, I think I have my hands full as it is."
Understood.
Wait, all right, I think I have my hands full as it is. The captain says understood, and there's a voice in your head, Waitley, that says, so have you decided? Basically, it's like, it's 3 words. Can I know? And then 3 more words. Are you creator?
Oh, God.
Don't you remember where we left that?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Dealing with everything in the moment, and the thing that takes us to the next spot that people are going. We're going to move away from your scene at the turbo lift for a minute. Is that in your head? You hear the voice of the Horda say, "And I know." Are you?
The end of that scene is Waitley's just got this overwhelmed look, and then that happens, and his eyes are literally bugging out like that damn art breeder that Duncan did forever ago.
So perfect. Meanwhile, up on the bridge, where things may become dicey, Kendra, in the center seat. The chief is refusing to look up from his console. Moon relaxes back in his chair and puts his feet up. He puts his feet up on the console and he goes, just let me know if we need to go anywhere, Commander.
Moon, you're relieved. If you could please make your way to the sick bay.
Sick bay? I feel great. Seriously.
And that is exactly why you need to go to the sick bay. Please don't touch anyone.
I could fly right through that asteroid right now. You don't even know.
Kendra hits her comm badge. Transporter room, please beam Ensign Moon directly to the sickbay.
No, really, I could. The transporter beam takes him. No, really, I could.
Combat
So,
again.
wait, question.
Dr. Eli.
With all this transporting, is the transporter officer sober?
Yes. Transporter officer, it remains sober at the moment. I made a list in my mind of like what, and I even wrote some of it down. But a list of like what officers would it be fun to have be like totally infected by the polywater, and what officers would it be fun to have be like still in control of their senses for the moment.
Righto.
Dr. Eli.
Dr. O'Connor here.
You have incoming case. Should be beaming to you right now.
Okay, why is the pilot down here? Who's flying the ship?
Ged goes, I don't care if you can fly through an asteroid, sit the hell down!
Actually move to the piloting station.
In a while. You haven't piloted a ship in a long time, Kendra. It's been a long while, in fact. Like, the last time was when you did it for the Academy. Quentin, what do? You're at your station on the bridge.
I have quietly acquired one of my lab biohazard suits.
Okay.
So what are you doing about me being...
But he's just like, the chief, I'll tell you this much. The chief looked at Kara, looked back at his console, and he has not looked up since. That's the only other person on the bridge of note at the moment.
I'm probably quietly locking down most of the ship's databases and control systems.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to find someone who can fly the ship who's not drunk and isn't me.
I will see what I can do.
We'll see what I can do.
I've got something to throw into the scene.
Nice.
Actually, you know what, John?
Yeah.
Thinking about it, there should be hollow emitters on the bridge because of the emergency command hologram system.
That's probably true.
Here, let me take this one.
Sure, go ahead if you've got a solution for that.
So Graves hits his comm badge. Graves to Kendra.
Yes, sir.
A little favor. Could you have as we're developing a list of crewmen who are infected, could you cross-reference that against the officers who visited Cetacean Ops recently?
I can do that, although right now I'm rather busy trying not to crash the ship.
All right. I might just relieve myself of command for right now because I'm not feeling too great, and the Zindi down here are definitely acting a little bit strange. I think someone may have given them high fives like I just did. So, I'm going to go to sickbay right now.
Sounds like a plan, sir.
And Quentin is like, we have to have hollow emitters on the bridge. We have to. It just makes
Slaps
sense.
her comm badge. Kendra slaps her comm badge. Dr. Eli.
Okay.
O'Connor.
Dr. O'Connor here again.
I'm afraid you may end up having to make sure that the captain doesn't trying to retain his captainship. Just keep an eye on him. He's infected, and I don't know how he's going to react to that. And as medical officer, you're the only one who can relieve him of duty if he's not medically fit.
Okay, so him beaming off to wherever did not work, I'm guessing.
Thinking about high-fiving a Zindi.
What? Was it Larissa? I'm guessing it was Larissa. Do we have any other Zindi officers?
Yes. You have a couple of you now have a couple of Zindi officers who work in Cetacean Ops.
Asteroid.
Oh, why? Yeah, I just move away from that asteroid. I like that. A Zindi Aquatic in Cetacean Ops. That's awesome. That is absolutely wonderful in my mind. We focus on the bridge as for a moment because that's going to be the next thing that we see. But we need to see these two officers in what the moments before they come to the bridge. Waitley, what do you do? Horda just called out to you. Kara is unconscious in the turbo lift. Larissa is looking at you like, what the hell should we do?
If I recall, the Horda is still on the other ship, correct?
Yes, it is.
We
Okay,
isolated the
Kendra, I
other
see
ship.
I see it in chat. Yes, the Horda is still on the other ship, Nord.
Waitley is going to... He is going to do a deep scan of Larissa to see if he can determine if she is infected.
Nope, she's definitely not infected.
All right.
Certain of it.
He slaps the...
In fact, make the roll.
Okay.
Because you might make the roll of what was it that we used last time? Psychology will not work in this case, but 11 and 4, you have a 15 as your target number. There's a good chance that, good things happen.
One success.
Got a success. She doesn't quite make you feel totally okay again, but you feel a whole lot less like what's happening is the people on the ship are affecting you. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But when you try to read Larissa, you're like, oh, she's like a bastion of calm. And because of that, you can react to the Horda with your inhibitions intact.
All right. He's going to project to the Horda. I forget the name. What was it? Noki or something like that?
That
I made
was
an icon for him. Noki Lai.
Yes, because
There
that
it
is a different way to say no kill eye.
Yep. All right, so he is going to project not like any specific thought like communication, but more a he's going to attempt to influence Noki Lai to remain calm. Don't panic. He's going full Hitchhiker's Guide here.
It seems calmer. Definitely now. You remember the first time that you contacted it, you figured out what was the issue and why it feared you so much. Aside from the fact that you rolled, some complications. It feared you because it was born on that ship after everyone was dead. Mm-hmm. It has never even known the existence of another life form. And so when you talked in its brain and were able to communicate more through feeling and visualization, what you were trying to make it understand, it was totally freaked out. And then it believes that you sent the food because you guys sent over a bunch of precious metal for it to eat. Mm-hmm. And it believes that you sent it. It doesn't know or understand that there is more than this voice in its mind or, brain. That's all it understands at this point. Is it knows you because you've been in its mind, but it doesn't know of anything greater than itself and the ship that it's been eating to stay alive.
All right, so once Waitley is confident that Noki Lai is going to be okay, at least for the moment, he is going to...
Okay, yeah, he'll be calm, and he has enough to eat.
Yep. He is going to slam the security protocols on the turbo lift. He is then going to access the panel to... I don't know if this is something he can do, but he wants to access the life support and basically put a sedative to keep Kara Junrani asleep.
Okay, You definitely like. It's very easy for you to hit the controls and raise a force field over the turbo lift. And Larissa says, "You really think it's that bad?"
He looks at Larissa and he says, "She makes the ship go. I
Good point.
really do not want to lose her to stupidity."
Bryce comes walking down. Bryce comes walking down the corridor, and he's doing. I want you to imagine Wyatt Earp walking down the streets of Tombstone, looking at like totally on like edge and twitchy about every movement. And when he sees the two of you at the turbo lift, he levels his phaser at you. He's got a Federation Type 2 or whatever, he's got a phaser pistol in his hand. And he goes, "Please don't make me put the two of you down."
Whately slowly raises his hands and says, "Lieutenant Larissa and I are not infected."
He visibly relaxes. And however, he does keep his phaser not exactly up, but his attention turns behind him. And he says, "The ship is not safe right now."
Whately nods very enthusiastically.
Can I come in with something at this point?
Absolutely.
So the turbo lift door opens and Marcus steps out around Kara. And he walks over and he puts he sort of slaps Bryce on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, we definitely want to keep things under control as much as possible. I think Kara's infected. Sick bay is going to be probably a mess right now, so if you can put her in somewhere secure, her quarters, something like that, that'd be good. I'm going to check on main engineering real quick. If you could have a security detail meet me down there, that would be great. Give them full hazmat protection."
Absolutely, Captain. And the camera focuses for a moment like it's one of those, call it like a stutter shot. Like the forward action of the shot stops for a moment, and we focus on just a second that just happened, and the camera is focused on Marcus's hand tapping Bryce on the shoulder.
And I am going to show everybody... Oh, didn't I save it? Where'd it go? There it is. I am going to show everybody exactly the look on Whately's face when this happens.
Is that one with like the eye?
Yes. This is literally Whately's expression through this whole episode.
Like, oh God, not this. You literally were just told that the captain is no, you weren't. It was the sick bay crew that was told the captain.
They weren't told.
The
captain's not going to sick bay right now.
You guys do not know.
He's going to engineering with the security team.
For a second, I forgot Whately didn't know, and I had a plan. And then as I was figuring out how to word it and kind of predicting what my role was going to have to be for it, I was like, wait, Whately doesn't know. Whately can't do that. Shit.
So Graves is just going to head off to engineering with the security team.
Graves heads towards engineering, and Bryce goes, "Larissa, you're cross-trained in security. Let's go." Whately, I like you, Victor.
Remember, Bryce.
Don't let this get too bad. And Bryce grabs gives Larissa "you're with me" kind of like pat on the back, and the two of them start to follow the captain. They are your security.
Well, hold on. The orders were Bryce, take care of Kara, security team, meet Graves at engineering under his presumed command.
Ah, I see. Okay. That reads different than what my mind heard it as. So, in fact, then Bryce goes, yes, Captain. And he says, Larissa, I'll have somebody throw me an alien name. Heck, you know what, Nord? If somebody in your chat comes up with a cool alien name, that is the name of an officer on the ship.
Come on, people, come up with a cool name. Oh, Nick. Gremblow.
Gremblow? Okay.
I thought we were waiting for a cool name.
Gremblow Jabra. There we go. We got two names. We'll make that a full name. How's that work?
It's Glembro or Jabra. Is one of them not one of our players saying it?
The second name, Jabra. That's sovereign.
Jabra, then. See, this was let one of our listeners name one of our characters. The character is an alien that is an unknown alien at this point in time. If a listener has a design for us, we'll be able to maybe add it to like the episode description or something. But Bryce says it's a very similar moment. Bryce says, Larissa, you're cross-trained in security. Go with the captain now, and I'll send Ensign Jambra down to join you as fast as he can. So that's a he. That's all I know about the character. There is an alien named Jambra on board your ship. That is a security officer, specifically, not a tactical officer. And then it is Larissa who is following you, Captain, who is like who gets the pat on the shoulder from Bryce, who's given her one of those like nods of like, I'm real happy to be working with you. And now, Nord, you should probably your Nord eyes should be those giant eyes, because you know that Bryce and Larissa both just got infected.
Just a reminder for everybody watching.
So yes, Captain, you're going to be the first one to really have like a scene, like a cool like drunken scene in engineering with Larissa.
Okay. Well, hold on. So we're going to. Are we at engineering yet?
It's on this deck.
Okay. So we're on our way to engineering. Graves is just marching. He is sort of in military mode right now.
Okay. Larissa falls into military step with you. That she's trying to follow your lead.
All right. Are we at the doors yet?
You are at the doors, and Ensign Jabra is walking up. We'll eventually know what Ensign Jabra looks like, and I love that we have a name character.
Yeah, so Graves is just going to point. It's like, okay, ship's in danger. We've got to remove the engineering team from their stations. They've been entirely infected. No time for subtlety. Blow the doors open.
Larissa gets a smile on her face as the polywater is certainly moving its way through her Zindi reptilian body, going, he's gonna let me blow shit up. And she's like, yes, sir. And she taps her she takes out her pad unit, taps it a couple of times, and a small bomb appears in like a small, very compact, like door opening bomb appears in front of her, and she puts it in front of the engineering deck or in front of the engineering door. And Jabra says, Captain, we're gonna have to step back, sir.
Right out.
And you and Jabra step back, and Larissa steps back with you, and she goes, we are ready to breach on your order, sir.
Make it so.
Make it so. And we go to our commercial break because we had a player ask for a few extra minutes on our commercial break this time so that they can do something that they have to do. And the captain, Larissa, and our new security officer created by the community named Jabra are standing far enough back so as not to be, caught in the breaching charge. And Rick, you are having the most delicious pie and cake, and everyone is so full of love in engineering, and it's the best thing ever. And suddenly the door explodes. Cut to commercial. Everybody take 20 minutes. It might take a little more. And Kendra's like, what happened? Why? What's going on? Wait, sick bay? Oh, God. I hope everybody's having a good time. I think. And we're good. So we come back from our amazing extended break of biology and taking care of the most awesome acting ensign in the universe. And we find ourselves no longer on anything that seems to be the Reliant. We find ourselves in what almost could best be described as some sort of like fantastic fantasy tale, fairy tale wonderland of a forest. And we focus in on this knight wearing what looks like, quote unquote, shining armor. But instead of shining armor, it's like whoever's having this dream is messed up, like a little bit, maybe drunk or something, because he's wearing Mako armor from the game. He's wearing like a full suit of Starfleet Mako armor and carrying her bravely through these lands of danger as fire erupts around them, like the fire swamp from The Princess Bride, or as like the sound of thunder appears nearby, and the gates of a city are off in front of them as he charges forward. And then the doors to sickbay open up, and Bryce comes in, looking for all of the part like if he could be doing a hero pose while carrying Kara, everyone, he would be doing a hero pose. But instead, the doorway to sickbay opens, Eli, and Bryce steps in and says, "Kara's been infected. Save her, doctors! Save her!"
Bryce, you might be infected too.
Nonsense! I'm an android!
Yes, but this can infect androids. Especially...
Nonsense! You must save her!
Historic data shows that Data was infected, so yeah, you're probably infected too.
While all this is going on, Kara's mumbling in her sleep. Bryce, you're so dreamy.
Yes, Kara, he's dreamy. Put her down on a bio bed and you get on one yourself. Doctor's orders.
Yes, Doc. Bryce puts Kara on a bio bed and then says, "Are you certain? There are more people to save out there, Doctor."
I am absolutely positive, Bryce.
And Ged says, "Sit down, you rust bucket." And Bryce finally sits down when Ged gets on.
Kara sits bolt upright. "Don't you call him a rust bucket, you little gremlin?"
Dr. O'Connor, what would you like to do?
I'm going to sedate Bryce.
Okay. He is having his drunken reaction is he's having a hero complex moment. He wants to be like Superman right now. So you sedate him and he's like, "But doctor, I could help so many people." And he falls over.
Question for Eli. Is this the "you're going to sleep" sedative or the "please calm down" sedative?
Going to sleep.
Damn it.
Okay, and then it goes then it goes exactly like that. He's like, "A doctor, I could save some," and he falls back over, and you realize, okay, now I know that will work. He's got at least enough biology in him, along with the android. He can be affected. You're like, that's a good thing to know.
Kara crosses her arms and whips her head away from Eli. For a coward who won't pick up a gun, you sure are pretty mean.
You call it cowardice, I call it principles.
You call it cowardice, I call it principles. Get says everyone is drunk! And the scene switches to Victor Waitley in a hallway, standing there. After the captain left and Larissa ran off after him, Victor, Bryce looked at you and said, "Captain's orders," and he lowers the force field on the turbo lift and grabs Kara and runs off down the hallway. What do you do?
Waitley's just standing there, face palming, like full on face palming, shaking his head. He taps his comm badge and says, oh crap, Kendra and Kaz are still gone, aren't they?
Yeah, so call 6A or something.
He taps his comm badge and says, Waitley to O'Connor, we have a problem.
O'Connor here, yeah, of course. I just put Bryce down for a nap.
Oh, he made it there. Is the captain there?
Wait.
No.
Did you see the captain? He was supposed to come on down here because...
Go ahead and put me back to sleep, too. I was having a great dream.
Dr. O'Connor, I do believe the majority of the ship is now compromised, including the vast majority of the command staff.
Come here, suit up. Because we don't need you getting infected too. That's the last thing we need, and we don't need everybody pissing themselves.
It's the last thing
I can hold my bladder just fine, thank you.
Not you, Kara!
I have an idea. I will be there as quickly as I can.
Alright, then somebody get Dr. 3.
And when Eli says, somebody get Dr. 3, you, Chaplain, can never make the voices go away. You've never been able to ever since you were a child. And recently you formed a mental collective with Dr. 3. You are a 2-person collective, as it were, and you become instantly aware that she is still in her regeneration chamber.
Waitley is... alright, so Waitley's gonna do 2 things. Mentally, he is going to start screaming at her to wake the fuck up. Which is probably the first time anyone in game has ever heard him curse. Second is he is going to find a Jeffries tube.
Okay, and the scene ends with Waitley crawling into a Jeffries tube, and then the door to engineering exploded. Rick, what do you do?
So Graves runs in directly following the explosion with the phaser.
Okay, Graves, there's a party going on in engineering, and they all look absolutely shocked, horrified, stunned. One guy has half a piece. He was holding a piece of cake, and he lets it go, and the cake falls out of his mouth. They all look completely surprised, and I don't know what Rick's reaction is. But all of the engineers are like, what the fuck?
So... Graves at this point just shouts, I'll explain later, it's for the good of the ship, and then fires with phaser on stun.
What are you doing?
Okay, Rick is just going to... He's getting up and going to shut down the captain. I mean, that's the only thing he's going to do.
I'll explain later.
That's the only thing going through his mind right now is to look after his crew and the engineering team. And, yeah.
This is the greatest day ever. I'll explain later. It's for the good of the ship. Kapow! Kapow! Kapow!
Okay, so how does that play out?
behind you, you hear Larissa say, "He let me blow up a door." She's still happy about blowing up the fucking door. What is the? How do we know who goes first according to the rule system, Baz?
Well, it's turn based. So pretty much you just get to decide out of this because it's enemy versus and player, so it's really up to you.
Okay, both of you will need to make a roll, obviously. For you, Baz, it's a physical attack. You're charging to tackle the captain.
So that'll be an opposed roll during security from me and the captain.
Okay, both of you roll daring security. For Rick Tier, that is 11. And for the captain, that is
13, I think.
13, yes. Sorry, I was reading the wrong number. So both of you roll one.
It's the first number is, okay, so it's 2d20, then is it just 13 or is it like 113? I forget where the difficulty goes.
13, then 1. You can just do 13 if it's.
Yeah,
I'm
not saying either of you have focuses that apply here.
Yeah. So,
like
2 successes.
Well, I got a success with a phaser.
Well, the phaser now goes off. That roll, I'm going to interpret all of the rolls as how the combat happens, right? Because this is Rick Tier trying to tackle the captain. The next roll is the captain making the phaser shot, which is a different kind of roll, isn't it, Baz? It's
a control.
Well, wait, hold on.
It's control.
Wait, I'm going to make a comment here.
Yeah.
Marcus has a focus in battlefield tactics, and he is in full military mode right now.
That's true. So I will give you your focus on your phaser shot, which is at a 14. And that means that you crit on a 3 or less.
I rolled a 2.
There is it. I only see...
it's the 218. So yeah, the Baz roll, and then I'm right above that.
So that was the...
so ignore those two rolls.
Attack.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And because this roll, you have a better chance. This roll, you have a 14 because it's a different stat that affects your phaser shot.
Okay, so roll, it's a 2d20?
Yep, it's 2d20, and then 14 and 3. Dang it! So what happens is you do hit some of the engineers for certain. You're like, I'll explain later. This is for the good of the ship. And you just start firing your phaser into the party and engineering. You hear one person, this is one of those, this is like there's definitely an F-bomb dropped on Star Trek when that happens. One of the engineers just goes, what the fuck? Kind of thing. As the captain opens fire on them. And Rick runs out of the crowd and leaps through the air, grabs the captain, and they both tumble down to the ground. And Larissa, all right, so poor Ensign Jabra, is trying to figure out what to do, and Larissa doesn't even react. She just looks down as the two of you tumble into the hallway and goes, "Need some help, Captain?"
Sure! Join in!
And she leaps on top. Jabra leaps on top, and now there's a 4-person melee happening in the hallway outside of engineering. And on the bridge, we hear the voice of our first officer as the camera comes back to the bridge. It looks like they're back. I'm not sure. I'll wait for the full thumbs up because what she just said in the chat would be the perfect thing for Kendra to say on the bridge as the internal sensors pick up what's going on. Where's the captain opening fire? Where the heck is Dr. O'Connor? Are you guys back, Kendra?
She might still be text only.
She says,
Yeah.
just say it for me, in text, indeed. And so what happens is back on the bridge, we focus in on Kendra, who is still at the damned pilot's chair, saying, why the hell is the captain opening fire? Why is the captain opening fire? Where the hell is Dr. O'Connor? And Quentin says, Oakley is on the way up. He's been training to fly the ship. And Oakley slides onto the bridge out of one of the access like Jeffries tubes that are only big enough for him, and comes over near Kendra and is like beep beep beep, makes a happy face on his front.
So, question: when Kendra managed to yell all that through the communicator, did Kara hear it from?
No, Ged is putting her to sleep too. He's like, Ed is like, you are really drunk. And like gives her the hypo. And
can I fight him off?
Yes.
Do it. Yes, do it.
You can fight him off. And in
Car's
fact,
like, oh no, I saw what you did to Bryce.
I saw what you did to Bryce. No. And you push him back, and eventually he gets the hypo on, and he goes, shit. Doctor. He goes, Dr. O'Connor, I'm pretty certain the answer is in the other room. And he goes and sits down on a med table as Kara drifts out of consciousness, feeling all like, yeah, I gave him away. And he gives himself the hypo and passes out.
Freaking little gremlin, I wanted to talk to Bryce.
And then he goes, I'm pretty sure the answer is in the next room. And then he puts himself to sleep. You're sitting in the edge of I'm going to come right back to sickbay, but I want to catch Waitley up to the same moment in time. You're sitting at the edge of that Jeffries tube you found, Waitley. You're like your face is probably like in your palm. What do you do now that you found?
I don't know if that sound came across my mic, but just
I don't think it did.
Anyhow, so Waitley is frantically screaming at Dr. 3 to wake the fuck up while he's scrabbling his way through the Jeffries tube, trying to get to sickbay without encountering anyone.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's great. So get back in your mind. Why are you waking me? I needed an extended she says I needed an extended regeneration after 4 days of no regeneration.
He doesn't even like explain it in words. He just, because at this point, I imagine they've gotten used to each other's minds and their thought process and all that.
Probably.
He literally just shoots the whole mental image of everything going on to her.
Okay.
In one swell foop.
Do you remember the scene in the movie where Data, I think it was Generations, where Data got his emotion chip?
Yeah.
Scene in that movie where the ship is crashing and Data goes, oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah, you hear that go off in her mind, and then she cuts you off. Back in sickbay, Eli, the door to the back room slides open. Dr. 3 is standing there, and she says, Waitley just told me what's going on. He's on his way.
All right, I have to go stop the captain and prove I am not a coward.
I see. Are we in that much danger?
Yep.
And you realize that her question isn't like, what kind of danger are we in or anything. It's her response to Eli saying, I have to go prove I'm not a coward. And she goes, are we in that much danger?
And that was my response. Yep.
Yep. Got it. I'll see what I can do about an inoculation. And she walks over to the computer, and you realize something. You kind of forgot after the bunch of you stopped. And it's only been, like a week or like 4 days or so since you were working together to free the Borg. The Borg that you were liberating and bringing back to, be taken to the something institute. Daystrom, yes, sorry. You remember that she works fast. Her Borg tech that she still has in her lets her work fast.
Before I leave, I point to my office computer and say, I've already been starting to research things. All the notes are up there from previous polywater incidents.
Got it. And you see her immediately link to your system and call it to the main sickbay system that she's working on. And Eli leaves sickbay. And this is where everyone knew was going to go back. I left sickbay in this episode. All right, so I see Quentin saying that he is back. I'm sorry that your cat did that to his poor son. I've got so many more opinions. And Eli, Quentin, I see, and Kendra says she may be back soon. Quentin, on the bridge, you just reported that that you had found the next best pilot. That yes, that's true. Good call, Waitley. But you had just reported, Quentin, that the next best pilot on the ship was Oakley, and you sent him a message. And so Oakley was on his way, and Oakley comes zooming onto the bridge, flies up to Kendra and goes beep, 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 and makes a happy face and takes over piloting the ship. Tell me what I got to do to get back to spilling personal secrets. I love it. I will in just a second. You may resist the drugs. It's entirely possible. Why not? I love the idea, actually, that we don't even need to roll for it, that for some reason that we will have to, as a group, brainstorm on. Kara just, she can get, knocked out, but she wakes up again way faster than most people.
She spends momentum. Is anyone going to disagree with that?
Nope.
I wouldn't.
Momentum.
I do have a technobabble. I've got technobabble.
Uh-oh.
Cool. I love that there's technobabble.
Kara is the daughter of two IBI administrators who were her genetic augments with, let's just say, superior physiology. So she will wake up faster.
This is to say nothing of the cybernetic implants she also has.
There you go. And to complete the Lando image, I love Nick adding. I just want to add, EV suit has a cape. That's wonderful. So Quentin, you are still on the bridge with Kendra, and now Oakley and the chief is still focused on his console. He has not looked up for the last 45 minutes or however long this has been going on. You may make a perception check. What are perception checks, Baz? I forget.
So it's insight, and depending on, is it a potential security threat? Is it medical?
It is a medical threat. So insight medicine. So you have a 12 in that, Quentin. I will let your focus and diligence apply, so you crit on a 1 or less. So you crit on a 1.
You said 12?
Yep, 12 is your total number, and you crit on a 1.
Yeah, no roll, just the exclamation mark 2d20. You're back? You are back, baby, or you're back from baby?
success and a complication. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's wonderful.
This is the best episode for us to have bad rolls.
I have best complications ever. I'm not even feeling like I need to spend threat, which is the best part. So you easily recognize Quentin. Not only is he just staring at his console, he hasn't done anything for the last 45 minutes. I mean, he's blinking and he's breathing, but he is just staring at his console and he hasn't, like, done anything with it.
Pardon me, got a butt in?
Adjusted,
the reason? Car is just that damn hot.
No, that's not the reason.
Aww.
But yeah, Quentin, he is, something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with the chief. You're pretty sure of it.
Chief, what's your status?
Status green, sir! Green! Back down.
So Kendra is not at the console anymore. Oakley's there
Oakley
in
is now
Con,
at the
right?
console, and Chief is at the operations console. And he goes, situation green, sir! Back
Chief?
down.
I need you to, you know what? Never mind. Transporter, what's your status? Transporter room.
We're good down here, Captain. We've kept the doors closed ever since this started.
I need you to transport the chief to the med bay, please.
Chief looks over and goes, Captain, and boom, the transporter beam takes him, leaving now only 3 of you on the bridge of the ship. One of them,
Lock down the turbo lifts to the bridge and the main Jeffries tubes.
The voice of the computer is what would be the computer's response. It would be like affirmative or something. Affirmative. And you hear and can see the readout that all of the turbo lifts and all of the ways onto the bridge, including the one that Oakley just came through, the little Oakley turbo lift, or the little Oakley Jeffries tube, all seal up, and Oakley spins around above the chair, makes a beeping noise, and then a question mark appears on his little screen, and then he turns back to pilot the ship.
Block all transporter, help me here.
Access.
Yes, to the bridge.
Affirmative. It says affirmative. And so so that Elenis and both Kendra and Cast both know and can catch up. You saw happen on the computers and the readouts and everything. You saw you became aware of Captain Graves' position again after security after an order went through security to have a security team meet the captain at engineering, and then minutes later there was an explosion as the doors to engineering were breached by the captain, who stepped in, and you were able to look at the incident report, because the incident is still going on. The captain went into engineering and went, "This is for the good of the ship," and started blasting the engineers who were having a party. And speaking of that, there is a scuffle, a kerfuffle, a fist fight going on in the hallways right outside of engineering.
So, Graves, during the scuffle, is just shouting at Rick, "Rick, report to sickbay! This is an order from your captain!"
What do you do, Rick?
Yeah, I'm not the one shooting my crew, Captain. I trust them.
Not
You're
the
all
one shooting my
infected.
crew. I trust them. And Larissa and Jabra were helping the captain, and then when Rick says, "I'm not the one shooting my crew," Larissa looks at Jabra and goes, "You know, he's right." And they turn on the captain. So
What is this, mutiny?
it's a mutiny.
We must protect this ship at all costs. Everyone out of engineering, into sickbay. Everyone go.
Someone in engineering that has absolutely no inhibitions and doesn't fully understand what's going on because they are really, really drunk right now. Looks at what's happening in the hallway and goes, "Pylon!" And all of the engineers come like streaming out of engineering and leap onto this giant pile. And Graves and Rick are like pushed to the bottom of this pile of engineers. Finally,
does Graves notice that they all exit engineering?
Yes, they did obey his order.
Okay, so then Graves, underneath the pile, shouts to the computer, "Computer, seal the doors to engineering."
Great. Engineering seals off with no one inside. Computer, seal off engineering!
I have to ask a question.
Yes.
If he's sealing the doors that he just blew up,
Force
Yeah, that's
field
not gonna work. The doors are blown up.
I know.
Force
Okay.
field goes up. Computer, seal engineering!
wait,
I just want the picture. Wait, I want the picture of two doors like coming together, but there's a giant hole in them.
Okay.
Then there's a force field coming down.
and then Graves does a Geordie barrel roll right through it.
Wait. Can we do that? Wait, no, he's at the bottom of the pile. He can't like pull himself out of that.
Both Rick and Graves are kind of at the bottom of a pile-on of engineers, which is absolutely the most ridiculous image that's ever entered my mind when I've thought of Star Trek. But I absolutely love it. And finally, the cover of the Jeffrey's tube in the sick bay opens up, and Waitley, you pop into sick bay. You see a whole lot of officers knocked out on beds. Dr. 3 is working at a computer, and Kara wakes up. You're staring at the face of Victor Waitley, Kara. You are in sick bay. You are drunk.
What the hell is wrong with your eyes?
What is wrong with your eyes?
She slides off the bed and goes over trying to wake up Bryce.
Laughing was completely out of character.
What the hell is wrong with your eyes? And then she slides off the bed.
Waitley just looks at her and says, "Lieutenant, sit your ass back down."
He says, "Contain her. Welcome." She looks a little overwhelmed at the amount of information. There is so much medical information flying by on the screen that you are amazed she can be reading it that fast. And you don't see Dr. O'Connor anywhere. Dead, by the way, your ship's like secondary doctor is unconscious on one of the tables in here.
Mr. Com badge. Dr. O'Connor.
Okay, in the hallway, heading toward engineering, just before you round the corner and see a giant pylon, Eli, your comm badge goes off, and from the bridge you hear, what is it? Bridge to Dr. Go ahead and have your have the conversation. Bridge to Dr. O'Connor, your comm badge goes off.
O'Connor here. Wait, can you guys hear me?
I heard you.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
okay.
for Ken.
Okay.
Am I not coming through?
Oh,
now you are.
you weren't just until just now.
Okay, I said, what's your current status?
Finishing what they started.
And what exactly does that mean?
Oh no, you sound drunk.
They drew first blood. No, that's not a character. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out of my system. They're attacking engineering. I'm gonna finish this.
Favor and just leave your comm badge open so I can hear what happens.
Say that again. You cut out for me.
Do me a favor and just leave your comm badge open so I can hear what happens.
I'll try.
Okay, comm badge is open. Eli, you round the corner, and you know what I mean when I said pile-on, right? Like
It's a dog pile.
it's a dog pile. It's like 20 or so engineers have dogpiled Rick and the captain. And in the middle of the hallway, right outside of engineering, is a giant pile of people. How do you react?
I look down at the pile, like, I did it! I'm the No, I'm kidding. Oh. I'm sorry, having a bit too much tequila tonight. I walk over to the pile. I'm looking Marcus right down in the face if, his face is real.
All right, Marcus's face like appears from like between someone's arm and another person's like knee, and he's just looking out from the bottom of the pile.
I hereby relieve you of command. Under medical...
Sounds good.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I can't argue with circumstance. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Not gonna lie, I was, kinda hoping I would have to fight you and prove myself that I wasn't a coward, Takara.
You can fight everyone else, though.
No, I just wanted to fight you.
Join in! Come on!
Nah.
Team building exercise at this point.
I mean, I'm in a full heavy suit of armor. No, I'm not gonna jump on top of everyone.
All right. Wait, at this point, wait.
Sure.
Marcus is going to say, "Attention, crew! All right." Eli says he can't take part because he's in a heavy suit of armor, and that would be unfair. What do you say? We give him a shot.
Good. Transport Dr. Eli O'Connor back to the
I'm sober, don't transport me.
I'm sober, don't. And you appear back in sickbay. You appear back.
Okay, at this point, Marcus is going to say, well, he's going to keep rallying the crew. It's like, okay, guys, we got to get to sickbay to get Eli.
You hear a muffled sound from Rick, who's buried somewhere underneath all the pile of bodies. He's unfortunately facing downwards, so you can't actually see his face.
Can't actually see his face. I love it. But yeah, the rest of the crew is like, Eli! And they start getting that whole like that drunken like, yeah, the captain's right, we should get Eli. And some people start chanting Eli, Eli. And now like the whole engineering crew is like psyching themselves up, and they're climbing off of the pile, and they're forming like a mob. They're starting to mob up. They're like, Eli, Eli, Eli. Rick, what do you do? Your engineering crew is becoming a mob.
That's probably a bit too far.
This may be a bridge too far.
I'm just trying to think what I can do. I made an alternative suggestion, but I can't think of one right now.
That's exactly what you say then, as the captain is standing up, riling your engineering crew. You're like, you say those exact words. You go, I need an alternative plan. I can't think of one right now.
I have a plan.
I have a plan, and on the bridge, Quentin, do you say what you said in chat? Level 10.
We heard everything going on down there before Eli got transported, right?
Yep. Yes, you
Computer, flood deck 6 with anesthetine gas and erect a level 10 force field around main sick bay. And then flood the corridor outside of sick bay with anesthetine gas.
The computer complies. Kendra, you see it beginning to do these things, and
Wait, hold on. As Marcus notices that he's is there any sign? Well, actually, at this point, he's just going to try to beam himself to sickbay. Have his comm badge.
Your command codes have been revoked.
Yeah, the doctor.
But
as soon as the doctor said that, the computer revokes your command codes, and it's because you were like,
so command codes would include
your ability.
Command codes would include. Okay, good to go.
Now, badges have not been revoked.
That's true.
Rick Tier still has his.
I don't have my combat there because it's been removed.
It's still inside of engineering. So all of
wait, hold on. I got a scene with this with Marcus and Rick. They're sort of like they've been separated from the mob a little bit. Marcus notices that there's a that there's nesting gas flood again. Just resigns himself to it. It's like yeah, Rick, we're probably gonna have a nap, so yeah, let's just sit down, make the most of it, try to get a good sleep.
I would like to do something.
You're going to appear in sickbay and can do everything you want. It's good. We are fast approaching our final moments, and this is awesome. So you appear in sickbay, Doctor, and as you appear, you hear the sound of a force field go up around sickbay. Dr. 3 looks up, like she notices it, and keeps working. And Chaplain, I know we have about another half hour. Actually 40 minutes. Chaplain, you were told to Dr. 3 was like, restrain her, and Kara was moving. This is right before Eli gets transported in. What do you do as Kara tries to move across the sickbay?
Well, the last we saw of Whately was him kind of squaring up in front of her saying, sit your ass back down. And then everything moved along, but he's giving her the googly eyes, and if she gives even the slightest bit of resistance, he is basically going to silently tell her to sit down in the same way everybody loves he told the Orions to take a piss.
We're going to have some opposed rolls because she's going to try to slap him.
I was going to say, Kara, what is your reaction? You're going to be like, no, and slap him. I love it.
No, she's not even going to say anything. He's just standing between her and Bryce. She just slaps him.
I love it. This totally works. What is the I'm going to slap somebody roll, Baz? Is that daring security? As is
either that or fitness, I imagine.
Sorry, daring security and another melee attack.
So your daring security is 10, Kara. You have a 50% chance of either of these rolls making it. You guys do have, still in my mind, 3 momentum. So in my charts. So what the frack? Okay, Whately then needs to.
I get
roll,
that's only one success, but that is the 2 successes, but one of those wasn't because it's a 12, which is above 10.
Oh, I
But it's a
see. It is 2
crit.
successes, but it's still a crit. And Whately
Needs to
defend
counter that roll. So,
Fumble,
needs to
fumble,
do
fumble.
an
And
8
here's a question: is the speed of slap faster than the speed of thought?
Yes, in this case, you guys are going at the same time.
Okay.
It's much like we did before with Marcus and Rick. We're going to roll
Gotcha.
both combinations of things. You also have a 10 as your target number. So go ahead and roll 2 dice looking for 10.
he's got to get 3 successes to beat this.
Yep, and he doesn't. And he does not. So he will get slapped. That is for certain. Now, the speed of thought for Whately is what have we been using for his go to sleep? We've been using presence, right? And
Command, I think, isn't it?
presence and command, giving you a 14 here to like send the mental like sit down kind of thing. So for you have what did we just say? 14 and 2 dice, everything else normal. And for Kara, we have a presence and we have an 8. 8 is your target number.
Good, do it. Oh, hey, that works.
Love it. So Kara
Actually,
steps
I'm going to
across-
spend a momentum and add another die.
Oh,
I love it. Go
snap.
ahead and roll it. Oh snap! Because that die might be a success. And it is. It is brilliant. So what happens? Let me make a roll. This person is also not particularly good at the thing that all of you are doing. They're not particularly good at it. Woo, 2 successes though. No, that's wrong. Oh, that's
gotta
why.
crit that.
Because it was a crit on that. This is awesome. Kara steps across the sick bay as the force field, the force fields of sick bay begin, like you hear them humming, like something is happening, and Kara slaps Whately across the face. Whately, you realize as quickly as it happens, Kara has just infected you as you get slapped, and you try to like use your mind to be like, sit down, stop this. And Kara, maybe because she's drunk, maybe just because something's really under her skin right now, you don't know, but she doesn't sit down, and like you can see her be like, grr, I'm resisting you kind of thing. Like you can tell that she's like trying to not let you put her down. So she slaps you, and Dr. 3 does something you would not have expected. She turns around, grabs Kara by the shoulder, and 2 tubules come out of her arm. Shoot into Kara's neck, and she goes, stop freaking out, Whately, it's medicine. And you see this it's not nanites. You see a medical injection go into Kara's neck, and you may say as many inhibitionless things as you want, Kara. Right now, as Eli, you're appearing back in the sick bay, and Dr. 3 has tubules, Borg-looking tubules in Kara's neck, and Kara and Whately are face to face.
Okay, let's see how quickly I can jam this all into a couple sentences.
His comm badge is still open, so we're hearing all this too.
Yes, you are.
Actually, when I appear,
Kara, looks over at 3. Damn it, I just wanted to get over to Bryce. It's clearly I'm not going to get anywhere with the captain. He's only got eyes for that coma girl. All the cute guys around here are taken. I bet this is all Kendra's fault. I swear the stick up that woman's ass has a stick up its ass. And then she slowly just pitches forward.
and immediately upon, coming there, after she says so, that I tap my comm badge, end the comm between them.
She pitches forward. You catch her, Waitley, and Dr. 3, you see her with her other arm send a file to the pad that you have connected to your EV suit, Doctor, and she goes, "Check my work. I hope I didn't just kill her."
I'll check it in just a minute. I tap my comm badge. This is only like a couple seconds after, I've been out of there, I'm guessing. I'd say, bring me Graves, transporter officer.
Transport officer says, "I am sorry, Doctor. There's a level 10 force field around sickbay right now. We're gonna have to wait for we're gonna have to wait for authorization."
I need him here now. Just as soon as...
Up on the bridge, Kendra, you hear Kendra and Quentin, you hear transporter room to the bridge. Transporter room to the bridge. Someone's not coming through. Kendra's muted.
She said yes twice.
Oh, but she's muted.
Hello?
There she is.
Okay. Yes.
The transporter officer says, "Sickbay is asking that we get them the captain."
Taps her cough badge. Dr. O'Connor, what's going on? Did that come through?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, I forgot I muted myself. I'm sorry. I need the cap to make sure he is secure.
Oh, he's secure. He's unconscious.
Well, I might need to run some tests on him because there's something off.
It's a better idea to leave him where he is for now, unless you have something definitive.
I might have something, just I can't prove it without him being here, though. And I'm not gonna bring something to you without merit.
Kendra, or rather Kara, while they're having this conversation, you wake up being supported by Waitley, and you feel it's not exactly like a headache hangover. It's more like a, "Oh, what the hell just happened to me" hangover. You are the first one who has received the dose of cure for this polywater infection, and you should play that however you want to see, because Kara distinctly remembers exactly what she just said before she passed out a moment ago, and she was looking right at Waitley when she said it. And now he's like reporting you.
Can I have a moment of confusion here? Because I thought of something really funny.
Sure, absolutely. But you do definitely remember saying what you said. And you are coming out of the polywater intoxication because Dr. 3, in fact, was the solution. I was shocked that it took people so long to be like, "Where is Dr. 3? Get her on duty." And for it to be like, "Yeah, she's just been in an extra long regeneration cycle and she can't be affected."
So anyway, as Kara comes to, there's a moment of confusion where she looks down at herself, slightly sweaty, in her night clothes, being held up by Waitley, who still has really strange-looking eyes. She suddenly screams, "Pervert!" and slaps him again.
Pervert! Slaps him again. And then Eli and Kendra's conversation should continue. I need him here to prove something. I wouldn't bring it to you without merit.
And Dr. 3 has something, and I want to make sure it works on him, because he was very badly affected.
Right. We can beam him to sickbay, but I want him in the containment area in sickbay.
He says, 3 lets you answer, and she indicates to Waitley that she's moving over to Ged's bed.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the containment area to meet Graves when he's beamed in.
Okay. The level 10 force field, do you order for it to go down, Quentin? You raised it, only you or a superior officer to you can lower it.
Computer, lower the force field around sickbay, and as soon as transport is completed, raise it again, please.
Affirmative. Graves, you are transported, although you are asleep at the moment. You are transported.
I was going to remind that.
Yeah, you are going to you are in the you don't know it, but you're in the containment area of sickbay, and Dr. O'Connor, you see the captain appear, and 3 says, "I've only got anecdotal evidence until you double confirm my work, Doctor. Do you want me to give it to Ged before you do that, or?"
Give it to Ged, I'm going to have a private moment with the captain.
Understood.
I want to give Marcus a hypo to wake him up.
Okay, you wake, Captain, you wake up in the containment room of sickbay. It's a pretty small area, and the door does look like it is currently sealed with a force field. Dr. O'Connor is there with you.
Good morning.
He sort of... Eli. What day is it?
I think it's a Wednesday?
I love it.
So let's just put it this way. Is the ship going to explode at this immediate moment?
No.
Very good. What do you have on your mind?
I'm still looking for that fight. I'm not a coward, and I need to prove it.
I'm not a coward, and I need to prove it. It's so hilarious for the Doctor.
You are wearing armor.
It makes it fair.
And I am...
That makes it fair.
Wait. I have a solution. Wait, no, I can't access it. Very well, punch away.
I can't punch you without you punching me first.
Very well.
I've been clearly intoxicated with polywater, so I mean, I'm about to hit one of my officers.
Say again.
I'm not about to hit one.
I'm not about to hit one of my officers when I know I'm intoxicated with polywater, and I did just raid main engineering, which I'm starting to suspect may have been an overreaction.
Yes, it was. So, are we not going to do this?
We can do it later. I think for right now, let's get the ship back in order.
All right. Damn you, but all right.
Damn you, but all right. Getting back out into sickbay for the two of you involves Dr. 3 gives you both the inoculation, and she's like, "Look, if you're not going to verify my work, why do I even send it past you, Doctor?" And she gives you the hypo, and she gives the captain the hypo, and she starts giving the hypo.
I'm still in the suit.
Well, she sent it into she just gives the captain the hypo. That's true. She goes, "If you're not going to verify my work, why do I even send
it right now, Dr. 3?
And she gives the hypo to the doctor, and Ged is sitting up on his bed, rubbing his head, and he goes, "Look, we already know it works. Man, that is a weird hangover."
Can we propagate?
And he says, "That is a weird hangover."
Can we propagate this throughout the ship automatically, or do we need to hunt down each crew member?
Dr. 3 says, I can certainly deliver it in an aerosol form if I have command authorization to do so.
Contact the bridge, get that authorization. Also have someone go to Cetacean Ops and inoculate our crewmen there.
Understood. And on the bridge, Kendra, we come back on our scene back on the bridge. It just continues to amaze me in my mind that when every time we're looking at the bridge right now, it literally is two crew members and an exocomp running the whole bridge.
Like I said, I'm getting flashbacks to that one Lower Decks episode. I imagine her hair has been slowly becoming more and more frizzled as the episode goes on.
It's Kendra, it's Quentin, and it's Oakley, and the whole ship is being run by the three of you from the bridge right now. You hear Doctor Three to Commander Elenis.
Yes.
Commander, we have a working cure for the viral outbreak that we're seeing. I can aerosolize it, which will allow us to affect the entire crew faster. But I would need command authorization to go ahead and do so.
All right, you have my authorization. Out of character, I've got to go.
Okay, no problem. Doctor 3 then proceeds to release the cure into the atmosphere of the ship, and all around the ship we start to see some of the people who normally are just background characters to us. The sort of characters who are acting ensign. Miserable. Give acting ensign love from the storytellers here, because we love our acting ensign. The scene, as I imagine it, is showing the faces of the people who were affected as you don't even really see the cure happen, because it's just it just goes throughout the ship. You follow the aerosol trail as it is that spreads around, and it's all invisible, but the crew starts like coming to again and being like, okay, oh, whoa, that was mess. And Rick, you wake up in the hallway with your entire with a hole in the engineering door and your entire engineering crew all sleeping around you. Like, that's how Rick wakes up. It's like Kara is in sick bay and is like patient zero of the cure, right? Like, you are the one that Dr. 3 was like, oh, great, now I have to test it on someone.
Can I get a little dialogue real quick?
Absolutely.
Kara, having recovered from her confusion, sorry, Waitley, she looks around. Okay, so the captain and Bryce were not here for that. She looks up at Waitley, and they will never hear about it. Or you will wish I was only going to slap you.
Waitley looks at her for a second, gives that really sinister, evil grin everybody trembles when they see.
Associates with him now?
And he just says, as you wish.
Don't make me get Mr. Pokey.
And don't make me get Mr. Poke. And as you are walking out of sickbay, because once you're inoculated, Dr. 3 is like, go ahead, you can leave. You're inoculated. Don't worry about it. We're going to get everybody. You'll be fine. As you're walking out the door of sickbay, he's not sitting up yet. He goes, I did hear that. And Kara walks into the hallway realizing that Bryce, typoed out, was awake by the time that she said the things that she said. And he's like, I did hear that.
Kara actually turns around and says, fuck it, you want a date?
No, I don't date. But
God damn it! She turns and leaves.
God damn it! And she turns and I see her like shaking her fists in the air.
Embarrassed and rejected in the space of 5 minutes.
Oh goodness. So yeah, all around the ship, people begin to recover from their polywater infections, and Doctor 3 goes ahead and makes sure that you understand, Waitley, that in addition to that what you saw her use is her own modification on her Borg implants. She repurposed her She repurposed the Borg medical implants that were in her shoulder and right arm to be a drug production factory. Essentially, she can make like one dose of like of like any kind of thing that just requires normal normal drugs that you could find in a sick bay. Like she can produce that out of the Borg implants in her arm, and those tubules don't deliver nanites, they deliver whatever the dose of what she has created in her arm to do. So that's why
basically any medication that can easily be replicated, she can just go,
exactly.
there we go.
She had just spent like, since she appeared in the last 15 minutes of the episode, right? Essentially she's like she was the denouement of the episode, right? Not the denouement, the whatever.
Deus Ex Machina?
Yeah, there you go. She was
in
the
a
Deus
literal
Ex
sense.
Machina that appeared in the last 15 minutes of the episode to be like, yeah, I can figure this out. Just give me like 20 minutes. And so she had been working on the computer and went, oh, boom, I got it. Bing. And also, if my thinking was, you guys did mention in the chat, and certainly there's room for other role plays to happen here, but you guys mentioned in the chat that Seven could be affected by synthahol, and I was thinking Seven at least until Picard. We had the feeling that Seven. I didn't realize how much Borg technology Seven still had in until Picard made it. The Picard show made it very clear she's still full of Borg technology. It's just all below the skin, right? But when we saw her getting drunk, I was thinking Doctor 3 in my mind is nowhere near as far along as Seven was in her liberation from the concept of a collective. And so essentially, if the polywater infection got into her nanites would be like, oh no, fuck you, and stop it from affecting her. So she was what do they call the thing that you're looking for in a quest?
MacGuffin?
The MacGuffin. She was the MacGuffin. Not a Mary Sue. She was the MacGuffin. You just needed to figure out that she couldn't be affected if it came down to that. If everybody got infected, you just needed to figure out you do have 2 crew members that can't be affected, which were Doctor 3 and Oakley. In my first writing of the episode, I was hoping that that Oakley would be here tonight, because if I would have made Oakley a much bigger part of the solution, because my first thoughts about writing the how does the ship get saved and whatever were, I can't make engineering be in danger because that's always the problem during a polywater episode. And so I was like, no, engineering is just going to be this amazing, awesome party, right? I was like, it's not in danger at all. So those the 2 things where it's not in danger, and the solution is either Doctor 3 or Oakley, depending on which way it goes. So, if people have other things they want to role play as the ship recovers from the polywater virus, please mention it and grab it and take your time.
Well, yeah, I've got one, but yeah, let's go with Nick first.
Alright, I take off the helmet of the EV suit, walk over to my desk, look at 3, can I please have my chair?
Your chair. She's happy to, in fact.
I sit down in my chair, pick up the Bloody Mary that I left on my desk, and just take a big, deep gulp of it.
Nice.
Staring down at my helmet well, that was a thing. coward because of pacifism. I'm not one of the cute guys, and Bryce doesn't date.
Bryce, from the table that he is still laying down on, he says, "To be fair, I've never dated, and it scares me."
You want to watch Lord of the Rings?
And he goes, "Will this dizziness never end?"
It will.
You check, and for some reason, his android physiology, it's working, but it's taking longer to cure him from the polywater virus. And he says, "I've stayed laying down because the room won't stop spinning."
That's fair. So you like Lord of the Rings? I remember you making a quote once. You want to watch that?
Word of the
Another
what?
time? Okay, never mind.
That ancient novel.
Yes,
yes,
there's movies
I read.
about it.
Movies?
Yeah.
You mean
Holodeck
movies?
programs.
Oh, holodeck novels. That would be entertaining. Yes, let's do that, Doctor. Oh man, I'm dizzy.
Well, we'll do it after you recover.
Ged, like giving the immunization to like the last person in sickbay, looks over at you, Doctor, and he says, "No."
No?
He says no, and for a moment, over Ged's face, picture Imley. And he goes, "No."
You don't have to join. You don't have to join, Ged.
So who else had a scene they wanted to do? That was awesome, Nick.
Kara's is pretty
Well, I mean,
simple.
this might-
She gets back to her.
Okay.
Want me to go real quick? Okay, Kara
Yeah.
goes back to her quarters, notices that her dog has recovered. She goes over to bed, lays down, picks up the pillow, pulls it over her face, and screams into the pillow. And then the cutaway shot is just her starting to cry.
If I may interject,
Go ahead, Waitley.
Kara's calm chirps. Waitley to Jinrani.
Go away.
There's a brief pause, and then Waitley says, "As you wish. However, I owe you a drink."
There's a sniffle. Why is that?
I did something that I don't like to do.
Oh,
And yes, he used a contraction. So if anybody keeping score of when Waitley uses contractions, I think that's like
I
number
have
6.
been, thank you. It's like only the 5th or I think it was how many times now?
Yeah, I want to say it's like the 5th or the 6th. It's not a lot.
Out of all of our months playing, this is only like the 5th or 6th time. Yeah.
It says, "I did something to you that I don't like to do. I tried to force you to do something. True, it was for your own good and for everyone else's good, but again, so I owe you a drink."
yeah, well, I slapped you, so, we're even. I'm going to call you on that drink later. I'm having a really bad day right now.
Understandable, and you do still have 3 months worth of mandated counseling sessions. Just a reminder. I shall leave you be. Rest well. And he ends the comm.
Nice. I know Marcus has something to do, and I do have a final communication that will be going to Kara, actually, of all people. Quentin will also most likely sign off on that comm, because it's just where it would go on the ship, where the thing that is going to happen would go on the ship. But go ahead, Marcus. I know you have a scene for our captain as well at the end of the episode.
Well, I just want to check in with you on this one. We've been waiting on Jigaro for a little while, and I would like to get through that scene just so I can go off and have my next 2 weeks of break and actually be able to do some creative writing.
Sure, I was going to actually start our next episode with that. Depending on how 3 was awoken, I was thinking about doing it this week. But yes, go ahead and write the. You know the characters fairly well. Doctor 3 and Doctor 3 would suggest that Waitley be present. Is certainly willing to do the surgery to bring.
Well, as in, yeah, I'd like for the creative writing, it would be after she wakes up.
Okay.
So I'd rather do the scene, even if it's a real brief one, get that just out of the way, just so we can kind of move on with that.
Sure, it's like the post-credits scene at the end of the film, showing us what's coming up next. Absolutely, Doctor 3 is. It would be like the next day or so, like to let everyone recover. But Doctor 3 is more than ready and capable of doing it. Suggests that Dr. O'Connor has shown to have the more steady hand on some of the deeper surgery removals, and Ged does not want to be involved in any more deborgifying surgeries if he doesn't have to. So, Eli, that is the condition of the 2 doctors who work with you the most. That is what they feel about it, and Marcus, you would know that as well. You would know that that's what both Ged and Doctor 3 think about it. Yeah. Doctor 3 is ready to assist, and is certainly capable of doing, waking her up and pulling out the things, pulling out the Borg technology that would make it impossible for her to, for her mind to liberate itself. She knows what to do as well as you do, Doc O'Connor, but she thinks that you've got the more steady hand to be able to do it. Is ready to assist.
Well, I'll do it then.
Okay. It comes now. In addition to the role play, the actual surgery comes down to, does Dr. O'Connor make the role, right? So the role here is reason and medicine, which for you is a 14. You are well trained in prosthetics and cybernetics as a focus, so your critical number is 4 or below.
And is 3 assisting?
Dr. 3 is assisting, and the ship will roll an assistance die as well. And that means that you guys currently have 2 momentum left.
All right, so roll 4 dice then with this.
Yes, roll 4 dice. We'll let the ship and Dr. 3 assist on the same numbers as you, which are 14, and there we go. Holy moly! Holy moly!
1 crit.
1 crit? Holy moly!
I just realized we had more than 2 momentum. Because there were 2 crits rolled by players, so we should have had 4 at that moment.
Doesn't matter.
True, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I was like, hey, my math started to say, wait, we had more momentum. I just realized.
So, Dr. O'Connor, something just clicks. You've, for the last couple of weeks, or for the last week, or I'm not really sure exactly how long in terms, it's been a bit, that you have been working on Borg, and you've developed a very steady hand at, I'm feeding back on someone.
It's Waitley.
It's Waitley.
Sorry.
There we go. What you've developed is a very steady hand for the removal of implants that sit very deep in someone's in someone's brain stem, and the implants that Dr. 3 has been sharing. She doesn't talk to you a lot. She doesn't talk a lot. She's developed a little bit of you would say she's annoyed by things personality since she's arrived on the ship, but the fact that she's developed any personality, knowing what you do about Borg and liberating them, wow, that she's come a long way in like 2.5 weeks, just being around you guys. But she has been sharing with you like the details on how to like pull the more mechanical and nanite centric things that are part of someone's like spinal column, and that's the hardest part of the work that you end up doing. And with Dr. 3's assistance and the amazing equipment that you have on board the Reliant, the surgery, it takes as long as surgeries take, and that is a while, even in the future. Marcus, I don't know. I know Waitley is present outside of the room, could be inside of the room. You also could be inside or outside of the back room of the sick bay that was built during the Borg encounters. It's up to the two of you where you are while the surgery is going on.
I know,
Mark,
go ahead.
I was going to make the suggestion that Marcus is going to be where Waitley is.
Okay.
I was just going to say, I can't remember who it was, but I do remember someone basically outright asking Waitley to be one of the first people she encounters when she wakes up.
That's why Dr.
Yeah, that was one of three.
Yeah, Dr. 3 was like, Waitley needs to be there when she wakes up. He is trained in counseling techniques, and she will be, Dr. 3 has warned you, Waitley, that she will be afraid, and that fear will come from what to her will seem like being more alone than she has felt ever when she wakes up, because when she is awakened from when and that's the scene I've got that I was talking about at the end, Kendra. You say in chat the Horda, absolutely. The thing that she is going to feel, Victor, is she's going to feel suddenly incredibly alone, even in a room full of people, and that is going to make her very, very afraid. And Dr. 3 says the thing they focus on the most at the Daystrom Institute when dealing with the liberation of people that have been long-term, months or more, held by the Borg in this way, they focus on making sure that they feel safe, so that the physical environment and that the physical environment and the empaths that work with them at the Daystrom Institute do what is necessary to make them know that they are not in danger where they are. That's what she has told you beforehand, before the surgery.
So Waitley is going to try something.
Okay.
He's basically going to do a much more toned down version of what 3 did to him.
Okay.
Not
like hey,
an overt, blatant, you are part of my collective kind of thing, but just kind of have those kind of mental energies that she's not alone and she can hear him as they talk, and
that's not a problem. You don't even need to make a roll for that. That's just when she wakes up, you are projecting that she is not alone, that there are people here, that she is not, that that emptiness and loneliness she's feeling does not mean she is alone. So you're just projecting that when she wakes up. That's an easy to do without a roll thing. Anything else that you want to do before she wakes up, either of you, or any of the three of you, actually, Eli, Captain Graves, or Chaplain Waitley? Anything the three of you want to do before she wakes up?
So Graves is basically just going to be sort of like sitting there passively letting everyone else work around them, because he's also going to be feeling the hit from what had happened during the mission. So he's going to be like, the best thing I can do is just stand back, because he had that moment of got to take charge, got to go attack main engineering, and he's beating himself up again and again over that. Like he didn't have enough control over what he was doing, which is.
I love it. So in fact, with the surgery done, Eli, you have much like Seven, and we found out. I love that we didn't find out until Picard that the reason that like Seven still had like the implant that stayed near her eye and things like that. Or that we didn't find out until that episode of Picard that there are so many nanites coursing through Seven's system that that she still has outward expressions of them with things like the eye attachment that she has and stuff on her hands and whatnot. And so as you finish the surgery for removing everything that you can, Doctor, her body reacts in an unexpected but not an unexpected but not totally surprising way. Her right arm, the nanites that remain in her body physically express themselves off of her right arm by a mechanical Borg implant that is kind of like it doesn't have like 8 legs or anything, but there is the lower part of her right arm has something like Seven's eye implant that expresses itself. Your immediate scans show you it's not a danger. It doesn't. What it is allowing is it is allowing the it is allowing the nanites the nanites that remain to flush and clean themselves with whatever air is outside of her body. It's kind of like an extra breathing device, but it just is like a small 7 of 9 looking Borg attachment that appears on her arm. I hope that's cool with you for the character, Duncan, as something that's like, cool. She's got a 7 of 9 thing.
Yeah, that's really good.
Also had something on her hand.
Well, yeah. The one thing I'll also point out through the art breeder picture, she's also going to, or I can also modify this, but she can also have something on her face too.
Sounds good to me. That's totally fine. It's just that, like, because it's doing that. The reason that those things appear is the nanites are looking for a way to keep themselves flushed with whatever the environment that they are in is, because it will make her body more capable of dealing with that environment. It won't protect her from like the vacuum of space or like heavy duty poison or anything, but like if the planet's atmosphere requires other people to use like a rebreather, it's possible she might not need it because of this because of the Borg tech.
Woo.
Yeah, she wakes up. And Waitley, you're projecting. You are not alone. You are not alone. And all of the idea that you are not alone, she doesn't. You can feel it. Her mind doesn't react out of immediate fear, but she does feel very alone the moment she realizes that the collective is not with her in her mind. And she sits like bolt upright. Like, not a like, oh, I wake up and then I like slowly get up. No, as soon as she is awake, she seems to want to know what is around her. And she's bolt upright, looks all around and says, "Where am I?"
Wait, no, I got the voice.
Oh, there you go. I know that I'm not trying a voice. I'm just trying her first question is going to be, where am I? And so that's, there you go. That will be the moment of her waking up is, the doctors wake her up and she says, "Where am I?" kind of thing. However that would go.
Where am I?
Did you use the right
Hello?
voice there?
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Wow, that's neat stuff, man. I like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That took me back. It took me aback. That wasn't quite the voice I was expecting.
Yeah, me either.
So as soon as she sits upright and says, "Where am I?" Whately very, very calmly, gently places a hand on her shoulder, and both mentally and physically says, "You are not alone. You are with friends. You are okay."
Who are you?
I am Victor Whately. I am the counselor of the Starship Reliant.
Where am I?
You are aboard the USS Reliant, a Federation starship. You have been...
I don't understand. I need data.
What do you remember? It's okay.
And she's blocking that off.
Mm-hmm.
So she is approaching memory, but she's fighting it.
So
at that
There
point.
you go, man.
As soon as Whately recognizes that, he's going to try to change the subject.
Right on. Does that put you, Duncan, where you want to be for the creative writing?
One quick thing.
Sure.
When he hears her voice, Graves just steps around the corner and then is just completely blank at that point of like, he doesn't know how to deal with this. He doesn't know, like, he's had this sort of like, what am I going to say? And then he just basically says, "Hi." And Central replies with,
Hi.
and
I like
we can
it.
just leave it at that.
That's awesome. I do like that.
That was actually a thought I had when she said, "Where am I?" I don't know if you guys noticed. I hesitated there for a second. Because we've had this thing where we know that Whately and Graves have very regular counseling sessions. Whately knows who Setsa is. Whately knows the relationship between Setsa and Graves.
Right.
So when she says, "Where am I?" his first thought was to look at Graves and go, "You want to take this?" And then it's like, no. That was why I hesitated there. It was like, oh, no, not going to go there.
Oh,
Not
Bree
going to
told me to be here for a reason. I do. I like that scene, guys. That was super fun for me just now. I like that. I like this character being awake.
So Kendra said she wanted to visit sickbay, but did we want to handle that
we
tonight?
can handle that tonight.
What do people
I do
feel
want to let Kara know that how about we go like to the quick scene that shows you that lets you guys know what happens to the Horda, and then we can end it with a final scene in sickbay. Oh no, Kendra's not available for voice, so we can pick that up next time.
Can I have a quick scene in engineering?
Absolutely. Let's go to engineering before we go to the scene ender about the Horda.
Okay, so a lot of the engineering staff are right now in the middle of just cleaning everything up.
Yep.
You see a couple of engineerings with stuff working on the blown up door. Tried to take it off. It's sort of like one part's off in hinges. So there's another part that's being replicated that's going to be put up. There's people just sort of sweeping up. There's trying to get up on ladders or things like that, just trying to get streamers or whatever kind of decorations they put up. There's people with garbage bags and wandering, and in the middle of it all is just Rick. That's just trying to just trying to keep a handle on it all. It's sort of like the single point of calm in this.
I love it. There's like chaos, and then there's Rick.
And while he's just looking around for a moment, and I don't know when this can be, but it can be sometime just before Setzer wakes up. But he'll tap his comm badge and go, Rick Tier to Captain Graves.
Had to make sure I had the right voice on. Graves here.
Well, engineering is currently being cleaned up. We're team's doing quite well. We should be ready within the hour. There is also say sorts of pause waiting for you to.
Very good. Send my compliments to the crew down there. They're doing a very fine job.
I also wanted to. I don't suppose apologize is the right word, but as I don't really know what word would be appropriate for tackling. Yeah.
Well, I was shooting your team, and under the circumstances with the polywater infection, we really couldn't. I can't blame you for the way you reacted. If I ever do something like that again, you have my authorization to give me a flying tackle.
I will try to come up with something with a more engineering type of solution to it next time, Captain. So, but I'm not all that physically trained. But anyway, I just wanted to check in and to ensure that let you know that things are going well, and just wanted to clear the air, so to speak.
Yeah, very good idea. And if your team would feel comfortable with it, yeah, I do have. Well, let's just put it this way. I mean, you could make a little bit of a special mess hall out of the conference room. If your team wants to come by there, I can have something prepared for them when I'm off duty tonight. Just when I get off.
Well, I don't know. They might be a bit partied out, but I will.
Well, we can have a low key snack bar set up for them.
Oh, that's awesome! Oh, that's so awesome! Oh, they might be all partied out.
But I will definitely pass that on and express your regret at what happened.
Thanks, Rick.
So,
Rick, tear out.
The final scene of the episode is possibly the next morning, as things have finally, started to come back to order on the on board the USS Reliant, and there is a beeping at Kara Junrani's door. It's morning. It's probably call it 35 minutes before Alpha shift. The chime at your door beeps, Mara.
Kara takes a deep breath from where she's sitting on the bed and tries to arrange her features in something approaching a neutral expression. It doesn't work very well. Enter, she says.
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
I always have the best timing.
I know, right? I was like, "Oh, you'll talk for a second," and then I have a drink in my mouth. So the door opens, and Larissa steps in and goes, "Kara, we have the coolest job today. Get your uniform on."
Kara's already in her uniform. She just looks up.
Okay, if you're already in your uniform, she goes, "Kara, we have got the coolest job today."
And that is, Kara says very warily,
Get to go on to an Archer class starship. You're the one who has to. So we've got a Horda over there that is, according to Whately's report, very damned unique. It has never known any other beings besides itself. You are our you are the chief biosciences officer on board. Come on, let's go.
Kara looks a little sketchy. I'm not an expert on sentient beings. I mostly just deal with animals.
And she puts her finger in the air and does the like, she points at each word in front of her, like, even like as if she's like putting the words in the air somehow. And she goes, "Chief Biosciences Officer. Let's go, Ensign." And you recognize that she has 2 pips on her shoulder, and that's the first time she's ever fucking called it out, because she's like one of your good friends on board. She'd never call it out. And she goes, "Chief Biosciences Officer. Get a move on, Ensign."
Kara sighs. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And she basically puts her arm around your shoulder as the two of you go down to the shuttle bay. And she's like, "Look, I requested security detail for this, so this better be cool." And she does everything that like that best friend does when you're feeling down, to not mention what's got you feeling down and make everything seem super exciting that what you're doing. And the two of you fly over in a shuttlecraft to the Archer class ship. You dock, and of course you're probably the one who flies it, right? Because it's, you know, it's you. And you dock at an Archer class ship, and the two of you, she's ready to step on board at the same time you are, both of you with full enviro suits. And when you do, the inside of that the inside of that ship is eaten to it's been eaten up by a Horda, who the end of the episode would be whatever the first things Kara does approaching this Horda, who is calm as you guys approach it, and looks like has been snacking on the high quality minerals your ship sent over to it.
Hi? Can you hear me?
You remember how, like, in Devil in the Dark, how the Horda, like rumbled around on the floor a little bit, and it kind of, like, backs up away, and it doesn't give, it's not a word that you see burned into the floor. It's more of, Kara needs to make a biosciences roll. We've never, Kara has never needed to use her biosciences before. And in this case, it is reason and science, which for you is a 15. It is not cosmozoan. It is not animal behavior. It is xenobiology. Your focus applies. Your target number is 15, and your critical range is 4. 3 successes. That's crazy. It is, in fact, what people are writing in chat. It's a horda-doodle. It is totally a doodle. It is more of a... Kara realizes very quickly that it is more of an expression of feeling than it is any kind of proper language. When you're like, "Can you hear me?" it rumbles a little bit, it backs up, and the image that is burned into the floor, very rudimentary, because again, it's had no development of language, really, right? But you recognize that it says yes.
Kara takes a deep breath. Okay, so just try and stay calm. I realize this is a new situation for you, but after so long alone, we're going to get you more of your kind, okay? We're going to take you someplace where you can be with other Horda.
It again rumbles and moves around on the floor, and it may leave a picture, but if it does, or it may leave an image or an impression on the floor, but if it does, it moves immediately over top of it and rumbles, and you can see the floor like burn underneath it, as you know Horda do when they move. This thing looks like it is incredibly, like it's got that lava like look to the rocks on top of it. And as it starts to move, it's moving forward toward Kara, and Larissa says, "Well, I need to be careful."
Kara thinks for a moment. I don't think so. It's clear that Kara is not on her A game, despite being able to remember stuff about Horda.
I like that. It's clear she's not on her A game. I don't think so. And the Horda rumbles to a stop right in front of her. And because you had the 3 successes by getting the critical in your first roll, you already understand what it rudimentarily is trying to say. When it gets clear of the kind of, it's an image and like it's an image and like an almost artistic character that exists on the ground. You can tell that it trusts you. That your voice now, whatever your voice is, now equals trust for it.
Kara looks at the doodles and kind of just kneels down and puts a hand on the Horda. Gosh, I thought I was having a bad time, but I guess you've had it a lot worse than me. Don't worry, we'll make it better. Things are going to get better from here.
And the episode ends with Kara and Larissa leading the Horda back to the shuttle that will return you to the Reliant. And that is the end of our episode called The Naked Tomorrow. Womp womp womp! Now you guys have a Horda friend.